news you count on. NBC2 News Today.
Breaking overnight, President Trump taking to Twitter following controversial comments in the Oval Office. The fallout this morning surrounding President Trump's criticism over Haiti.
A gunfight in a local McDonald's between two employees.
Jonathan Benitez, 10 years old. Kaylee Benitez, 3 years old.
Identifying the lives lost as the search continues for dozens buried under the mud in Southern California.
A fierce flu season in Southwest Florida. Now much-needed supplies running thin.
Cusp of seeing a major change in our weather pattern thanks to a cold front moving in from the west. How this impacts your weather today, I'll break it all down for you in your first alert forecast on the 2s. Starting off with cooler temperatures. Now, yesterday morning was a little chillier, but wait till you see today's highs thanks to a cold front that moved through overnight in your forecast on the 2s.
Breaking news, a major political upset. Democrat Doug Jones, a big victory over Roy Moore in Alabama's razor-thin special election.
An unknown shooter still on the streets this morning after taking the life of a young Fort Myers man. NBC2 following the breaking news from overnight.
It was rapid fire. It was just boom, 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 boom.
A Sunday morning church service turns into the largest mass shooting in Texas history.
All of America is praying to God to help the wounded and the families of the victims.
24 men, women, and children gunned down in their place of worship.
Why this church? Why would you do this to people like that?
This, the 39th mass shooting this year. NBC2 News Today starts right now.
Once again, you can see it there. We have it on the crawl running. We have that information on our website as well, because a lot of those folks have already heeded the warning and got out of there.
I think the best phrase I've heard to describe this was a watery war zone here with those powerful wind gusts as Irma came ashore.
Well, Andrew, I'll start right off with this. We're seeing actually some of the water push on shore right now at the yacht club. Do you know about that with the storm surge?
Yeah, we knew that storm surge was going to be a little bit of an issue as the day progressed, so we are keeping an eye on it.
But I'm told we have Governor Scott now with a new press conference with some new information, so let's go to that.
South Florida is already experiencing tropical storm force winds, and nearly 25,000 people have already lost power.
Clay, Kelly, yeah, we are here right underneath the Fort Myers Beach Pier. Take a look at this. I'm about 5'8", so this is about where high tide normally is on a normal day on Fort Myers Beach. We're standing in it. Take a look up. This is where the pier is right here. It's just crazy. I want to take a look over here, show you the beach. As you were saying, the water is receding here still. Be prepared to wait. That line is only getting longer. More and more people are showing up. Cars are coming in. People are walking.
Governor Rick Scott on the phone right now to talk about Irma's impact on Southwest Florida.
Yeah, Governor, thanks for joining us. Rachel Pearson, Clay Miller with you here in Southwest Florida. You said not to be complacent just a couple of days ago if you were on the Southwest coastline. That has certainly come to fruition. We're trying to get the message out. We just saw some new flood maps. It looks really, really bad. What is your message to us here in Southwest Florida?
Well, first of all, thank you for doing the coverage you're doing. Let's look. The storm's here. Hurricane Irma is now impacting our state. Let's all realize this. This is a very deadly major storm, and our state has never seen anything like this.
A lot of new information coming from the Charlotte County EOC. You'll see them behind me right now. They're still strategizing for any new information that will come from Hurricane Irma information.
Right now, outside of NBC2's news station as Irma is approaching. I'm going to turn the camera around right now. This is our parking lot. You can see the pretty heavy rain, very heavy wind gusts.
So people have to be careful. There are still charged lines out there, and they just don't. They got to be careful.
None of the cars have gotten stuck in this water, but I've seen trucks, I've seen smaller cars, big vans. Everyone's passing by.
Follow those evacuation. Do you think it went pretty well?
Definitely. We had a number of people in shelters, a number of people go out of town, go stay with other family members.
Now, the eye came ashore right about here. Marco marched up to Naples, Bonita Springs. And we often talk about that east to northeast quadrant. That's the worst of it, and that's where we have that stripe of precipitation and rain totals getting up closer to 5 to 10 inches.
Let me ask you first, is the flooding getting worse there? Is it rising?
You know, it's hard to tell. I have been running around trying to help people that have been stuck in here, and I do want to bring in this gentleman right here who just walked up to me. He is a mechanic. He lives in this neighborhood, and he's actually going to try and help getting one of these cars up and running. So tell me, you've been a mechanic for what, 17 years?
17 years doing mechanic work.
Could have been a lot, but there were some areas in that area that were pretty bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Water levels over the mailboxes. You know, I mean, that's at least 4 to 5 feet right there.
We can't help you out here. You need to keep yourself safe. This is rising. I'm sorry I'm getting choked up, but this is rising. It is starting to rain.
All right.
Do not risk it. If you are in a road that is flooded, you need to stay on the inside lanes. All right, I'm heading back to you. Clay, Rachel.
Yeah,
okay.
thank you.
Yeah, it's hard. You know, reporters,
nice job out there.
They're tired. They've been working around the clock. They're seeing a lot of damage, and it's hard to see. It's hard to experience. So thank you, Amanda, for that report.
Great job for her and that other gentleman there to get those folks out of there. Yep.
This is from an NBC2 viewer, Jessica Scott. Just more proof at how damaging the winds were last night. Oh my goodness, that's some major damage to that plane. I mean, I don't even know if I would know that was a plane.
Breaking news, a dramatic scene at a 7-Eleven in Lehigh Acres. The scene is changing and unfolding by the minute. We take you there live.
Also breaking overnight from our nation's capital, the Senate saying yes to the first major tax rewrite in over 3 decades.
A family living in fear after racially motivated threats are taped to a Lee County mailbox.
We should be used to this by now. Another round of fog this morning. I just updated the fog forecast model, and I'll show you where the thickest fog will be over the next few hours and your first alert forecast on the 2s.
We begin with breaking news at 5 o'clock. Lee County deputies are stationed right now at a gas station in Lehigh Acres. The scene is active and the entrances are blocked off.
It's at the 7-Eleven right now on the corner of Lee Boulevard and Gunnery Road, once again in Lehigh Acres. NBC2's Jesse Pagan is there for us again live. We saw you about 30 minutes ago. What's the very latest now, Jesse?
Clay, Stacy, a crime scene coming into view this foggy morning. If I'm going to get out of the way and you can actually see a bit of what's happening right now at this 7-Eleven, you'll see that crime scene tape, that sheriff's line right there surrounding those pumps and deputies blocking off both entrances to this 7-Eleven parking lot. Now, our crews got here just around 2:30 this morning. As deputies got here themselves, our crews saw deputies rushing onto the scene and some of them even running up inside the store, the 7-Eleven here on the corner of Lee Boulevard and Gunnery Road. Again, inside the gas station, they were in there and then they canvassed the parking lot. Soon after, several other deputies showed up, even a K-9 unit. And so now the 2 rows of pumps there are surrounded by yellow tape, and both deputies are blocking both of the entrances here. We've been chatting with the deputies a little bit. The ones here on the scene aren't able to tell us much of what's happening right this very second. We don't know much of if anybody was hurt or anything like that just yet. We do know that the deputies have been here since around 2:30 this morning, 2:45 this morning, canvassing the parking lot, going in and out of the store. Several deputies have been coming and going so far around the area, and a lot circling around here. So we're going to keep asking them some of the questions, trying to figure out what exactly is happening here, if anybody got hurt, and why everything is blocked off this second. As soon as we know more, of course, we'll pass it along to you. We're live in Lehigh Acres this morning. I'm Jesse Pagan, NBC2.
All right, Jesse, thank you. We'll check back with you shortly, starting your morning off now with a live look from our tower cam here in Central Fort Myers. You can see a little bit of a haze there, some fog rolling in from parts of Southwest Florida. Another morning, too, as a lot of people are getting out of bed and getting ready to head out on the roads. And right now we're joining First Alert NBC2 meteorologist Jason Dunning, who's tracking the foggy conditions in our First Alert Weather Center.
We kind of sound like a broken record, right?
Yeah.
We've been saying this all morning, Jason, but
Yeah.
the pattern is out there again. Are we going to see this for the rest of the week, you think?
You know, that's the thing. It's not going to change. We're going to see fog again tomorrow morning, Friday morning, and even heading into the weekend. And it's going to be pretty thick in spots. Let me show you where we're tracking the thickest fog right now as we consult our fog tracker. And we're going to be updating this, and this automatically updates really every few minutes and really keeps a really good idea of where the fog is moving around. And also I've got visibility on there, looking good right now from Naples up through Fort Myers, close to 5 miles, but down to 0 in Punta Gorda, close to it, RSW, East Lee County, or in Lehigh Acres, showers in Immokalee. Visibility also down to 0. So we're going to have to contend with some fog. Give yourself some extra time if you're heading out over the next few hours. Just updated the fog forecast model. The difference today is it looks like the fog will be a little bit closer to the coast compared to the last couple of mornings. So along I-75, you're likely going to run into some patches of thick fog and reduced visibility down to 0 in some locations, according to our latest fog forecast model. But then as we hit 9, 10 o'clock, like the last few mornings, the fog will start to lift away, and we're going to enjoy plenty of sunshine for the rest of the day, along with some pretty warm temperatures, considering it is mid to late December in Southwest Florida. Average high for this time of year around 76. We're going to end up in the 80s this afternoon. Rain chances very slim, and most spots from the coast out across our inland areas around 80 to 83 degrees. But there are some indications that perhaps down the road we're going to get into a cooler weather pattern. We'll address that and also have an update on the fog again coming up at 5:12.
All right, 5:03, some big news to talk about here from our nation's capital. Breaking overnight, President Trump tweeting late last night on last night's historic vote on the tax code. The president tweeting in part, quote, "The United States Senate just passed the biggest in history tax cut and reform bill." And Republicans are poised to make the most significant overhaul of taxes in some 31 years.
The bill is expected to be on the president's desk later today. It still needs to go through the House. That should happen in a few hours. It is expected to pass. Edward Lawrence has the latest for us.
On this vote, the ayes are 51, the nays are 48.
The tax cut bill is halfway there, passing the Senate as the vice president presided over the vote.
The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is passed.
Vice President Mike Pence there in case he had to cast the deciding vote. In the end, 51 Republicans voted for it and 48 Democrats voted against it.
After 8 straight years of slow growth and underperformance, America is ready to take off.
Democrats say American workers and families will not win under this tax plan.
It is something dramatically opposite of what America needs. There is no reason for a single middle-class family to pay more while every single corporation pays less.
When you conduct your business behind closed doors, not only do you end up with legislation that represents the needs of the billionaire class, but you also make a number of mistakes.
In the House, an embarrassment. Members have to re-vote today because of procedural issues. Parts of the bill did not meet House rules. The revised tax bill expected to be on the president's desk later today.
This is the greatest example of a promise being made and a promise being kept.
And Republicans can turn to the next challenge of avoiding a government shutdown. Edward Lawrence, NBC News, Washington.
And in just a few hours, Speaker of the House Paul Ryan, you just heard from there, will be joining Savannah on the Today Show just ahead of another big vote on the tax code. You can watch that live interview right here on NBC2.
5:06, a Lee County woman very worried this morning about her family's safety after finding a pretty threatening letter. You can see it there taped right to the mailbox. It used some pretty profane language and a racial slur. So bad, in fact, we can't even tell you exactly what it says. The woman, Sonia Agulo, was taking her daughter to a doctor's appointment when she noticed that envelope taped to the side of the box. It was handwritten and it was a threat, and she's now thinking, who sent it and why?
Sad because they don't know me. They don't know me at all because I don't know nobody around here. Now I don't want my kids to go outside by themselves.
This morning, Lee County deputies are investigating. Temple University going head-to-head with Notre Dame. It's a big matchup today at 3:30. And there are a few Temple alum employees involved in this show.
Producer Kate in the back.
Excited. So that's a big game. Notre Dame Temple today at 3:30. So football fanatics everywhere. We got NFL kicking off next Thursday right here on NBC2. So it's a great time of the year.
A lot of great games.
Yes, indeed.